It was said earlier that power concedes nothing without a demand. This was a statement by Frederick Douglass, the great abolitionist. He also said that those who profess to favor change without struggle want the ocean without the roar of its many waters. We have got to be in that ocean. I'm going to go to another analogy later, so I won't spend too much time on that. But so let's look at a little bit of the history of the civil rights movement. Take, for example, the Montgomery bus boycott, which began in 1955 and was led by a young Martin Luther King Jr. How many people here have heard of Rosa Parks? Most of you have. For those who haven't, she was the spark that ignited the Montgomery bus boycott by refusing to give up her seat on a bus to a white man and thus being arrested and put in jail. But how many people here have heard of Claudette Colvin? I think I saw about 3 or 4 hands. Before Rosa Parks, Claudette was also arrested and put in jail for refusing to vacate her seat to a white man. Leaders of the civil rights movement at that time knew that Claudette and others had been arrested and put in jail. But the leaders of the movement made a tactical decision to wait until the right moment and the right person to take on that fight. Initially, the boycott was planned as a one-day boycott. But the leaders assessed the circumstances and adjusted their plan and were flexible along the way as to what tactics they used. This is part of the lesson that we have to learn. It is about power. It is understanding that building a movement is about changing the balance of power and being flexible to adjust our actions. At this time, the public option will blunt some of the worst policies of the insurance companies, and so shift the power a little bit to our side. But, where am I? But it will also give the American people hope that change can happen. American people aren't as sophisticated, or they don't understand as well, and many people have said this as we go out tabling, don't understand what single payer is and what it's about. We have to continue that work to explain for those who support single payer what it's about and why it is a fundamental solution. But we also have to organize the American people today to give them hope and strength that change can happen. This will build our movement. This will build our movement from maybe a couple of hundred people here. I'm actually looking for someone I asked to make a count. Joanne? 180 people here, which is good because when we did this a couple years ago, we had maybe 30 to 50 people in a little march and rally. So that's good, but it's not enough. We have to build this. Oops. We have to continue to build the movement. Today, each of you and collectively, we have shown up to do our part. But it isn't the showdown many of us had hoped for. As I said, it's not enacting single payer. But this is not the shootout that we hoped it would be. No, the struggle today can more be likened to a football game, and we're still in the first quarter. As in football, there is no exact blueprint for struggle. From time to time, we have to huddle and consider the exact conditions before we make our play. We have to get the ball. Much of our history as a country has been based on these people's struggles that are developed based on existing circumstances, not just a moral core. We must not confuse morals and principles with the specific actions needed, or as many call it, the strategy and tactics that we need to position ourselves to gain a footing in our work. Finally, I'm just going to end with a couple of other things. Right now we have Representative Anthony Weiner has an amendment that will be voted on the House of Representatives floor, calling for replacing H.R. 3200 with single payer. And I encourage people to ask Rick Larson, or if he's not your representative, whoever it is, to vote for that. But Anthony Weiner, after hearing President Obama on Wednesday night, said that he endorses the public option and he believes that President Obama gets it. And I also want to leave you with Representative John Conyers, who has been our leader for many of us for the fight for single payer with his bill, H.R. 676. Representative Congress issued a press release where he came out endorsing the public option, but said we need to make the fight to make the public option the best that it can be. So, I've probably given everyone a lot to think about, but my purpose today was to say, as Larry said, that we have to speak with one voice. We have to build this movement with the American people. So we have to go out, we have to figure out how we can do that, not just with ourselves, but with the American people as well. How we can win them to understanding. Jim McDermott also said after the President's speech that because the main provisions of this bill will not go into effect in 2013, we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to get what we can get this year, and next year to go back and make it better, and the year after that, and the year after that. So we have to be in this fight for the long haul. We have to be talking to our friends, our neighbors, our coworkers, the barista that makes our coffee, the sales clerk, everyone we meet. We have to participate in phone banks and door-to-door. In other words, we understand this cannot be done alone. This has to be built with the American people. So again, I ask you, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Health care now. All right. Thank you very much.